All right, the Bellator MMA Welterweight World Grand Prix has been announced and it will be exclusively on DAZN starting Saturday, September 29th. I am pumped about this welterweight Grand Prix straight up. No, like welterweight is their best division. And welterweight, to be honest, it can rival the UFC welterweight division. It's that good. Those fighters, they really get in there and they get the job done. Like they're fighters. They're like real true fighters. They get in there. They go for finishes. They're flashy. They're aggressive. All of that is just everything you want to see in a fighter. That's what they have over there at the Bellator welterweight division. You know, not all of the divisions are up there yet, but the welterweight is definitely benchmark without a doubt. So, you know, they've gone ahead and put the bracket together. We've got Douglas Lima versus Andrei Koreshkov. That's going to be the first fight on September 29th. And then they've got this for the first round, Paul Daly versus MVP. We've been waiting on this fight. We've been waiting on the Daly versus MVP fight. And I'll tell you this, if Daly wins, we might be in line for a nasty little trilogy. If Paul Daly can manage to knock out MVP, we might be in the road. We might be in for a trilogy fight. We seriously might be in for a trilogy fight. But MVP is absolutely no joke. MVP is, that guy does whatever in the cage, and it works when it comes to the striking. All right, on the other side of the bracket, it's Neiman Gracie versus Ed Ruth. This side of the bracket is questionable to me. So on the right hand side of the bracket, it's Neiman Gracie versus Ed Ruth, and then it's Rory McDonald versus John Fitch. I always thought that when you create a bracket for a tournament, the number one seed is supposed to get the easiest run to the final, right? So if there's 8 people in a tournament structure, then number 1 would fight number 8. And then number 2 fights number 7, right? Then number 3 fights 6, 4 fights 5. That's usually how it's supposed to be when you put a bracket together. And that's just what I know from, I guess I'm taking this from like tennis, because I do watch a lot of tennis, but it's like maybe I'm taking it from the wrong type of bracket structure, but that's what I've always seen. Even on tough, I believe that they do that, but I know that the tough rankings are all just, they make it up basically. Anyways, back to Bellator, I just feel like Rory McDonald being the number 1 seed, because he's the one with the strap, he got a pretty tough fight as his first fight. And Neiman Gracie, who was probably the number, out of all these guys, I don't know, maybe number 6. It seems like he's fighting the easier fight. He gets to fight Ed Ruth first. And then, you know, he'll fight the winner of Rory McDonald versus John Fitch. And then all of that makes sense because, you know, that is, that makes sense because they are the tougher fighters, but it's just John Fitch is just no joke. You know, that guy will lay and pray. He's a lay and prayer. And it's those type of fighters win typically. Rory McDonald is good on the ground, but I'm not sure. I mean, I remember him fighting Damian Maia, and he just kept a jab in Damian Maia's face, to be honest, the whole time, and just stuffed the takedown. So it's not like we haven't seen Rory do this before. And I'm not saying that John Fitch is going to beat Rory McDonald or anything like that. It just seems strange to me that he would be fighting a tough fight instead of him fighting he should be fighting a Neiman Gracie or Ed Ruth. No offense to him. It's just that Rory McDonald has that pedigree. He has that pedigree, and he has the record, and he has the strap. He's the number 1 seed. Anyways, I'll just say, as far as the welterweight Grand Prix, it looks great. The only thing, I really didn't want John Fitch to be in it, but he is in it. It is what it is. But Lorenz Larkin is not in it. He's the alternate fight against, and I'm not sure who this guy is. I'll have to be very honest. I haven't seen him fight before, but Yaroslav Amosov, I believe that's how you pronounce it. That's the alternate fight. So if any of these fights pull out or any of these fighters pull out, these are the guys that they're going to be tapping on the shoulder to step in. So all I can say is this is going to be a great welterweight Grand Prix. It's just going to be amazing. It's stacked. Every fight is going to be good. As long as Bellator doesn't absolutely take all of the steam out of it by making one fight every quarter, then we'll be all right. If they can do one fight a month, so one in September, right? One in October, This is what once a month means. One is September, then one in October, then one in November and December, right? Once a month. The December fight, okay, that means we're done with we're absolutely done with the first round in December. And to be honest, they could run this thing faster now that I think about it, because it should be done by February. If they can be done by January, that would even be great. That's 4 or 5 months. Yeah, no, not one every month. 7 fights in 5 months. Or you can do 6 fights in 5 months and take a little bit of time to get the final fight. You know, the final, maybe give each fighter maybe, 2 months. 2-3 months to get back into a fight camp and kind of rejuvenate, kind of heal. So what I'll say is, let's do 6 fights. I want to see all 6 fights in 5 months. And then the final, they can do whatever they want to do about that. But don't drag this thing out like the heavyweight one. Don't drag it out like that. These are true welterweights. None of these guys are bouncing up and down. These are true welterweights, not like the heavyweight Grand Prix. This is going to be the real deal. Just let's go ahead and motor through it so that we can see it, get excited about it. And at the end of the year, you can be competing with some of the bigger cards that, that UFC is putting on, because UFC has pulled out, and UFC has emptied both barrels. Okay, they have emptied the clip. They have emptied the clip on the end of the year cards. I'm telling you right now that UFC has gone digital. They've literally gone digital. They just dropped out cards. They dropped Conor Khabib. They dropped Nate Diaz, Poirier. It's a bunch of fights coming up. 229. I'm going to do some videos about the fights on 229, but that thing looks absolutely stacked. UFC has got that motherfucking hammer time. Seriously. If you want to rival and compete with the UFC right now, this is how you can do it. The welterweight Grand Prix, it's not as shiny as what the UFC has going on, but it is going to be a bunch of great fights. Anyways, I'm not going to ramble on too much about it, but as you can see, I'm very pumped about this, and I'm happy for Scott Coker and Bellator MMA. Anyways, guys, leave your thoughts in the comment section. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button.